Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Hope everybody had a fantastic Thanksgiving. Hope everybody's having a good Black Friday. If they're shopping, if they're eating leftovers, if you're watching college football, college basketball, or any of the other good stuff on. We know nobody's watching hockey today. I'm your host, Tampa Tones, and we got the Buccateers rolling. We got Bucs Colts preview coming up. We got some of the crew in. We got Joey Nipson from the Cleve Me Podcast. We'll bring him in here shortly. He's got his Colts info to share and perhaps predictions of the game and whatnot. We also have Cats bumbling in right now. So we got a full loaded crew right now. Only one we're down is Bucko. We got Hands on deck. You are tuned into the Buccateers. Proud members of Bucs Life Media. You could watch us right now on Bucs Life Media on Facebook or our Buccateers YouTube. If you have questions, comments, ask us on our Twitter, YouTube, or Bucs Life Media on Facebook today. And you could catch an instant replay on Apple, Spotify, and so much more of the Buccateers podcast. Without further ado, we're going to bring in our guest. We'll have him say a few words before he walks the plank through the episode. He might not make it out alive of this one. I know we got Stunner ready to roll. Joey Nips, how we doing, my friend? How are you? You looking forward to the game this Sunday?
Well, by the way, how y'all doing? It's good to be on the show. Obviously, love watching you guys, and it's good stuff. But that being said, before the season came out, you look at this game, and as a Colts fan, you don't feel too good about it for a couple of reasons. The history of Tom Brady just always usually beating up on us. As an accurate passer, he is throughout all the years against our 4-3 softer coverage defense. So that was always alarming. And number two, you guys are the defending champs. So between those two things, you look at it on paper and you don't feel too good about yourself. But I will say the way the Colts have been playing with one of the best backs in the game, if not when Derrick Henry is out, I feel better about things. I'm not saying I'm sitting here cheering Colts are going to kick ass or outright win this game every day. I'm not saying that, but my confidence level is a lot better than it was before the year. We are at our healthiest right now, which we'll get into down the road. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to a dogfight in the trenches because that's exactly what's going to happen in the trenches is a dogfight.
Yep, let's bring in the crew now. Cody, how we doing, brother? How was your Thanksgiving, and you looking forward to this battle on Sunday?
I'm doing well. Good Thanksgiving. Got to see some family, and yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this game. Like you said, it's going to be one in the trenches. I think the Bucs want to turn it into a shootout, and I think for the Colts, I think they cannot let that happen. They gotta try and run the ball, which that's going to be a fun matchup. Great run defense, great run game. Like who's going to win there? But in my opinion, the Colts got to slow it down. If it turns into a high scoring game, I just don't think they can keep up. So yeah, that's where the game's going to be won or lost. Can we stop the run?
Yeah, I feel like the Colts are going to try and run the ball short in the game a bit, try and take the ball out of the Bucs' hands as much as they can. They want to dominate that time of possession. Battle in the trenches, like Joey said. Stunna, what say you, my friend? You looking forward to Sunday's game, and how the hell are you? How was your Thanksgiving?
I'm doing great, man. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, so it's definitely good times to be had. I think the key matchup in the game is going to be limiting Carson Wentz's scrambling ability. I think we've had issues with scrambling quarterbacks, and I think that's something that we're going to have to really hone in on and do a better job of.
Cats, what's up, brother? I see you stumbling in, and I agree. Wentz is pretty good when he gets out of pocket. He's actually having a really good year, and I was on the minority side when I said coming into this year, I like the move that the Colts got Carson Wentz pairing him up with Frank Reich, and it's looked pretty good for them so far, besides a few boneheaded plays here and there. But we'll get into that in a bit. Cats, what's going on, brother? How we doing? And how was your Thanksgiving, my friend? I'm not sure if we have Cats.
Hey, thanks.
Cats.
Thanksgiving was great. Yeah, this is.
I think Cats is stumbling on here, so we're gonna let him gain his internet back a minute while we. Cats, I think we got you now. How we doing? Actually,
doing good. Excited about this.
Yeah, you're good.
We're good. I'm excited about this game, but I am nervous. I think the Colts are playing some great football right now. And it looks like Marpet is not going to play in this game. Now, Stinney's a fine replacement for him. He's done a great job, did a great job on Monday. But this is going to be, one in the trenches, certainly. Him against DeForest Buckner is going to be a tough matchup for us, potentially. It worries me a bit.
Yeah, DeForest Buckner is going to be tough with Ali Marpet out. We do have Aaron Stinney, but without Marpet, that's going to be a tough matchup for us to win in those trenches. We'll get into that and so much more. But real quick, before we get into the episode and dive into things real quick, I just want to go around and say favorite Thanksgiving food, as Stunna alluded to. That's his favorite holiday. So we'll start with the big guy. Stunna, what's your favorite Thanksgiving food that you crossed yesterday?
My favorite Thanksgiving food is mashed potatoes and giblet gravy.
Giblet gravy, that sounds damn good, bro. Like that sounds good as hell. I could use some of those right now, so we'll get those in accordance. Joe, what say you?
I'm gonna go with mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm a little basic here. I mean, I like it all. It all complements each other. So just give me a little bit of everything, put some gravy on it, call it a day, and I'll be just fine. But mashed potatoes for me.
Cody, you gonna change it up, or are you gonna be like these two and go with mashed potatoes? Although Stunna has giblet gravy, Joe just has gravy.
White or brown gravy, Joe?
Brown gravy.
I'm gonna go with the sweet potato casserole, as long as it's got the marshmallows on top. I don't know. It's like that's the only time I eat it. Like I love mashed potatoes too, obviously, but I don't know, I eat that all the time. So yeah, I always look forward to the sweet potato casserole. I don't hate turkey, but I'm not. I don't know. Turkey doesn't. I'm not big on it. I'll say that.
I feel like turkey is one of those things that's hit or miss for people. Like I personally like it on Thanksgiving, and that's it pretty much. It's like, not that I hate it, but it's one of those things that I don't eat often. But it's been a damn potato fest so far. We got mash, we got sweet. Cats, what say you? You gonna be another potato, or you going different?
No, I love turkey. I'd eat it all the time if I could. I'd eat it all the time. I love it. Yeah, I love turkey.
What part of the turkey is you like the skin? You like the meat, the skin? What do you like about the turkey?
All of it. It's just got a great flavor. It's tender. If it's done correctly, it's tender. I even like to dip it in cranberry sauce as well.
Yeah, dude, turkey. Now, I just wish I had another plate of food in front of me. If I had to say something, I'm going with sweet potatoes. I'm a big sweet potato guy, so that shit, put that with some turkey, with some mashed potatoes. You line it up good, green bean casserole, the whole damn 9 yards. But nonetheless, we'll keep bumbling and stumbling into this holiday episode, so to speak. We're going to ask Joe real quick before we get into some score talk, MVP of the game talks, and things we are looking out for and whatnot. Joe, besides Jonathan Taylor, obviously, who's been setting the world ablaze, he's moved into some MVP chatter, although I don't think he'll win. Running backs never win. That's the reason why. It's pretty much a damn quarterback award at this point. They only seem to acknowledge quarterbacks for that. So as great as Jonathan Taylor's been, who do you think is the actual players that have been propelling this Colts team to this hot streak? Obviously, they have a handful of playmakers on each side of the ball, but if you could pick one guy on each side of the ball to really highlight and say this guy's been doing their due diligence and he's really been a key reason why for this late success, who would you roll with?
On defense, it's a no-brainer. It's Darius Leonard. I know you
Buckner?
Yeah, I know you guys got a great linebacker on your side too, and we got the same thing going. He carries so many, I call it casualties, that sometimes our defense lays on the field. Our defensive backs are a little banged up, and they haven't played the greatest at times this year. And he makes turnovers happen. He has 4 forced fumbles. He has 2 interceptions, 3 fumble recoveries. He's the maniac, we call him here, and that's for a reason, because he will be all over the field, whether it's watching Tom Brady trying to play the up front in the front 7, or he's trying to lean back in an alleyway to try and get a pick. He's going to be all over in the run and the pass. So if Tom Brady and the Bucs will be able to move the ball. It's been done in Indianapolis plenty of times. To me, the key is when they get to the red zone, can we stop them to field goals and not touchdowns? Because the yards are going to be there, as the Bucs have one of the best passing games in the league. So it's going to be about what Darius Leonard and the defense can come up with. Hopefully, a couple of turnovers and limit them to field goals. On offense, you guys are familiar with his daddy. I mean, Michael Pittman Jr. has been nothing but a great blessing for us. Second-round pick out of USC. Plethora of receivers went before him. This guy is a professional. He literally does everything right by the book, kind of like Jonathan Taylor. They grew up in, a good background. They're very bright people, and they play the game the right way. But at the same time, they're tough as nails. They are not soft just because, I know Hard Knocks is going right now. You might see this Colts team is, maybe they don't have that quote unquote edge, but they're a team that comes together and truly plays as one. And Michael Pittman carries that in practice. He's always trying to bulldoze defenders and get through because he does that tough yards. I think that's important against a Bucs defense that's not going to be easy to get yards. I think it will take a little bit for Jonathan Taylor to get going. But if Carson Wentz can get to Pittman early and make things interesting, then we got a ball game. As Cody said, I don't know about being in a shootout for us. We usually don't, tend on the side of shootouts and win those. But if we can get the ball to Pittman, he's been the go-to guy, especially in the red zone.
Before we get comments from our crew, we got a comment for you from Facebook. Will Doyle have a game for fantasy? I think you're talking about Jack Doyle.
Well, I'm going to be nice here. I mean, I like Jack Doyle, great community guy, but usually when you start with that, that's not a good sign for fantasy. No, he's tough as nails, but let me tell you right now, he has as good a chance as having a good fantasy day as some of our offensive line, as we gotten a couple touchdowns through them this year. So I love you, Jack Doyle, but I would look at the tight end free agent wire Bucs Life because I don't see much out of him besides a couple great blocks and a couple flat routes for first downs.
Cats, what say you? Colts tight ends against us. How do they fare? Jack Doyle, and Mo Ellie Cox, I guess. But I guess mainly Jack Doyle for our friends at Facebook.
I don't see him. I mean, if I'm thinking, and I don't play fantasy, like a lot of people do, but Jack Doyle wouldn't be the name that comes to mind to be successful in fantasy football. Even if the Bucs have had their ending the pass, I still don't see Jack Doyle as a good option.
I don't see him as a good option on many weeks, to be honest. But hey, we'll see if that changes this week. Stunna, you got any words about Jack Doyle against this Bucs defense?
I'm not, I don't watch the Colts a whole lot, so I don't really know who they have a tight end. But I would worry more about the outside receivers versus our defense. And, that also depends on the health of our secondary. But I really like what we've been doing lately, playing Mike Edwards in the slot and our nickel packages. And I think that we're going to be better served doing that. So, it comes down to execution. So it's going to determine, it's going to depend on how we execute as a defense as far as getting them into predictable passing situations and not third and short.
Yeah, Joe, did you have something to say?
Well, no, my question just for you guys is because, Jack Doyle, as much as I love him, I would be surprised if he's the hot topic on many shows when you're talking Colts Bucs. I'm Jonathan Taylor against you guys. He's in the MVP race. He's not going to win it. You guys have the best run defense in football. This is gladiator versus gladiator. Is he a concern, or is your run defense good enough to the point where you're not going to do anything out of the ordinary to try and stop him?
Cody, handle this one first.
I think we'll see how it goes, but I think, we've been the best run defense for going on 3 years now. I think Bowles believes we can shut down any run game. So I don't think we'll start with anything out of the ordinary. If it's not going good, you might switch up the scheme a little bit, but I would imagine we're just going to do our thing like we've been doing. A player that I'm really going to be watching is Jordan Whitehead. That dude, safety, mainly a box safety, but he's amazing against the run, and I think he's going to blow up some run plays early.
Yeah, fellas, Stunna, we'll go with you next. What say you? You worried about Jonathan Taylor, or you think that our defense is more than prepped, even though he is, with Henry out, the best running back in the NFL at this time?
I mean, he's a legitimate threat. I'm more worried about him in the passing game. We have showed holes in run defense this year. I think Tony Michel got some runs off. And the Redskins actually were running the ball on us, and that had a lot to do with their offensive line. And so we pretty much held Zeke down with the Cowboys. So, it all depends on how we show up. And if we're going to come to play, I'm more worried about it being a road game because we don't play very well on the road this year. And I think our only road win was New England. And that was horrible weather, horrible night. And the officials held us down as well. So it all depends. I'm more curious to see how we play as a road game. I think that Jonathan Taylor, I don't see him get 100 yards rushing, but I do think he'll be more of a threat in the passing game, and that's where we need to be cognizant of his skill level.
We did we did grab a W against Philly on the road too on Thursday night.
Right.
But those have been the only two so far. So yeah, we've been more scarce in the victory column on the road than the home turf. That's for dang sure. Kat, what say you? You agree with Stunna, Cody, Joe about any of their sayings or predictions about Jonathan Taylor on the ground?
Yeah, I think the last thing the Bucs want to have to do is walk an eighth man into the box to have to stop them. Then you're going to get favorable matchups for the Colts on the outside. So I don't think you'll see the Bucs try to do that right away. And yeah, if they have success running the ball and we have to do that, and we're on our heels. And I am a little bit worried because from what I've seen, I haven't watched the Colts much this year. I've seen them a little bit over the last few years. It seems to me, and Colts fan can tell me if I'm right, that Frank Reich just always seems a step ahead, at least to begin game, from what I've seen. From an analytical standpoint, from a play calling standpoint, it just seems that the Colts are always very well prepared. He calls a good game. I don't see them penalized very much. So that's concerning to me. That's not knocking Todd Bowles either. I'm not saying he can't match wits with him, but that particular matchup there, that concerns me a bit because it just seems like Indianapolis is never predictable offensively. They always seem to have a good game plan.
Yeah, no doubt. You're 100% correct on that. We've had a lead in many games this season, lost a few at the beginning, including the Rams and Ravens. But first 15 plays for Frank Reich is some of the best football I've seen in terms of offensive production, mixing it up with the run and the pass. So that's where he's strongest at. Now, later in the game could sometimes be a different story, but when Frank Reich has a week to prepare and he scripts those first 15, I'll be interested to see how the Colts come out because usually they get a touchdown on one of their first two drives.
Yeah, what say you, Joe? We'll start with you here too for a score prediction in this one. How do you see it unfold on Sunday at 1:00 Eastern time in Indianapolis on Fox? And good grief, I can't believe they didn't pick this as a game of the week, but that's another
Trash.
Story. These people picking college football and NFL primetime games this year have really done a terrible job at selecting what's been shown and what's been highlighted and whatnot. Between the officiating and choosing what's on primetime, it's like, good grief. Who do you got working back there? Who do you got working behind the scenes? Because, quite frankly, I think all of us could do a better dang job. Anyways, Joe, how do you see this one unfolding score-wise at 1:00 Eastern this Sunday? And how do you see it becoming like that? How do you see the game plan unfolding for each of these squads to get it the way it does in your score prediction?
Well, since we will be going there and our parents will be sitting.
Yes, we will be live there. I will say we will be live, or not live there, but we'll be at the game, and let's just say we won't be sitting next to each other.
Parents will be between us. Last Bucs Colts game, I was talking a lot of crap in Tampa, and then you guys had one of the biggest second halves. We were up like 21 in 2019. It was a December game, and you guys shut me up pretty fast. But I mean, I'm a little bit of a homer, of course. I'm probably being the minority here, but I think the Colts, if they do these two things I'm about to say, could win 26-23. Now, they will have to execute both of these things very well to beat Tampa. And a lot of people aren't talking about it, but Tom Brady versus the Colts pass defense, to me, is where I'm going to keep my eyes the most. Because if our defensive line does not generate pressure, and I know you guys have one lineman out, and our D-line has been playing a little better. But if we can't take advantage and try to get some quarterback hits, Tom Brady's just going to, go all the way down the field, and it's going to be a long day as those Colts gets their turn back and have to run with these guys, because Evans, I believe he looks healthy now, and Godwin obviously as well. So it's going to be no joke for our defensive backs. So we're going to have to get sacks to win this football game, and we're going to have to hit Brady as much as we possibly can, because otherwise he'll just tear us up. I've seen it too many times. And then the other side of the bar, Carson Wentz has got to have turnover-free football. He only has 3 turnovers this year throwing the football, a couple of fumbles, but really that's why the Colts have had most success. Jonathan Taylor, I usually say he's going to get his. Against you guys, it might not be the case. So if he has to throw the ball, 35 plus times, that's going to have to be turnover free every damn time he throws the ball. So I think if those two things could happen, we could edge out this game and hopefully turn some of your guys' good drives into field goals. My confidence is a little better than the beginning of the year, but it's going to be a dogfight the entire way through the trenches. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a good one as well. And it seems like whoever the home team is, at least of late in this matchup, has had the advantage and has won more oftentimes than not. So we'll see if your game plans and score comes right. Cody, we'll get your score next. How do you see this one unfolding, and how do you see it get in there?
I'm leaning like 31-24 Bucs. We like Stunna said, we haven't been very good on the road. I think it's going to be a close game. I think the Colts will try and slow it down running, and ultimately I think the difference is going to be a turnover, and the fact that we're going to score more touchdowns. They'll be settling for kicks. I just don't think the Colts have quite enough offense to keep up with us. So, but I'd like to go higher. I was leaning like 34-ish, something like that, but I don't know. We just haven't been nearly as good on the road. So I'll keep it at 31's right around our average. That's right around what we average every game. So, yeah, I don't know. 31-24.
Yeah, our splits for points per game between on the road and at home this year have been wild. We average right around that 40 points per game mark at home this year. And then on the road, it seems like, we got off to a fast start against the Eagles on the road, but then we stalled completely and they came back a little bit. And New England, we struggled scoring on the road. It's just like on the road for whatever reason. Obviously, Washington and New Orleans, the Rams, those 3 games resulted in losses. So those 3 were hard road games for us to get going on and to score on. So we'll see if that changes this week. I like 31-24. Stunna, we'll go with you next. What say you on a score prediction, and how do you see it unfolding that way?
I'm going to go with 31-21. And, I just see we got to throw the ball. I don't know if Mike Evans is even going to play, and I know Antonio Brown's out, but we're loaded at receiver. And we just got to throw the ball and test our secondary. We're not a running team. Their strength is run defense. And it's going to come down to our defense. And then, of course,
I can't hear you for Stunna. I think you butted out.
No, I'm on here.
Oh, you're good now.
Yeah, you're good now.
Okay. So I was saying we stall out a lot. We get big leads. We don't know how to, because the Bucs aren't used to routing teams. So we get big leads. We kind of stall out. We don't really know how to handle it. I don't see that happening this week. But I do see us, making those drives where we can throw the ball and test them outside in their safeties.
Yeah, Cats, what say you? We got Cody's having us scored 31. We got Stunna having us scored 31. Their scores are similar, 31-24, 31-21. We got Joe with Colts on top, 26-23. Do you see the Bucs score breaking 30 points, and how do you see this game unfolding with the score you got?
Well, I think having Gronk back is huge for our offense. Teams play a lot of cover 2 against us. And, I'll admit I expected that we wouldn't, and maybe I sold him short a bit, because I thought even without him, we'd still be as effective offensively. And we really did struggle for the most part. I thought the New Orleans game, we put up 27 points. We turned it over 3 times, which was the difference. One of them was absolutely ridiculous by the officials. They missed 2 holds on that play. I don't see us breaking 30 points. I've gone back and forth on this game. quite a bit. I really have. I'm gonna pick the Bucs. It's gonna be a tight squeeze here. I'm gonna go 27-24 Bucs. But this is gonna be, again, this to me is, and maybe I should be more confident. I don't know, but for me it's a coin flip game. But I'm gonna go 27-24 Bucs.
27-24 Bucs. I like it. We got close games across the board for the most part. Donnie Pittman chimes in. Donnie's got 37-21 Tampa. Wow, Donnie's got us going to Indy and coming away with one by 16. We got Donnie Pittman. Shout out to you, Steppen Pippin. I hope you're right, my friend. I see this one unfolding like a couple of you guys do. I see it being a close game, a bruiser game, a batter game. I think that it's one of those things where whatever offense makes the last mistake will lose this game. That's how close it's going to be. I think that it's going to be. I think 20. I'm going with 27-21 Tampa. I see us escaping with a 6-point victory. I think it's going to be a close game. I think that the Colts find chances at stifling us, but then I see the Bucs answering them. Again, I think that Colts try and get the ground game going, but although Taylor is great, they don't get too much going on the ground here. So I think that's going to give them some troubles when they try and throw. And I know our pass defense has been a little weak at times, but I think we come in and step up against Carson once perhaps. So I'm going 27-21. Just to run down again, we got 26-23 Colts, Joey. We got Bucs 27-24 from Cats, Bucs 27-21 from Tones, Cody 31-24 Bucs, done at 31-21. MVPs of the game now before we do our walk-offs and head on home, as we got about 15 to 20 minutes left in this Buccateers. Cats, who you got as MVP of this game? Who you got breaking out? Who you got helping us to victory?
I'm going to go back to Gronk on that. I think that's what I'm going to go with. I think he's so key in our offense, both in the run game, especially with Marpet probably out for this game. You need as much help as possible blocking. We know how great a blocker he is. And I think attacking the middle of the field is important. So I look to him to have a big game.
Yeah, our offense looked a lot better with Gronk last week than it did the past couple weeks. So that was nice to have him back. He looked like that good possessions guy, the guy Brady looked at when he needed to have a comfortable pass. Cody, what say you, MVP of the game? You going with Whitehead? I know you mentioned him earlier. You think somebody else is going to rise up to the top?
I got to go with Cats. The little bit that I've watched the Colts, they play like a 4-3, but mainly zone. Gronk is one of the best, if not the best, tight end ever in finding a soft spot in the zone scheme. Like, there's not much you can do. You cover a man, he's going to, out-muscle you. But him and Godwin both on our teams, I mean, they have a knack for finding the soft spot in zones. So, and then, Gronk, we saw, the offense is just different with him there. He's Brady's safety blanket. So, yeah, I expect a big game from Gronk.
We got 2 for 2 in Gronk, and, yeah, you guys are both right. Gronk has been just huge for this offense, especially this season. Last year, he was big, too, down the stretch in the Super Bowl, obviously. And then to open this year, he was on fire, and then injuries set him back a little bit. But now we're looking to get him back here, and he looked really good last week. We'll see if he could keep that momentum going against a good Colts linebacker core. Stunna, what say you? Well, we got Donnie Pittman real quick. He's saying MVP of the game. SMB, Sean Murphy Bunting with 2 interceptions, 1 for a pick 6. We got Donnie Pittman coming in saying SMB is going to come and play some hero ball this game. I love it. Stunna, what say you? Who's your MVP of the game, or who you keeping an eye on here?
I'm going to go with Tom Terrific for MVP because I see him spreading the ball to everybody. Like we did against the Giants. I think we had like 4 or 5 different receivers for 6 receptions, and nobody had over 100 yards. He just dink and dunk and spread it around, and that's what I think the game plan is going to be: get the ball out quick and use more of the horizontal passing game like we have over the past couple of weeks. So I think that's going to be the key, and I'm also looking forward to Devin White. I hope that he gets to play with his quad injury. I think he'll have a big game also. But the most valuable is going to be Tom Brady for me.
Joey, what say you quick? Who's your MVP from the Colts?
It's got to be a player you mentioned earlier, DeForest Buckner. If we're going to get pressure on Brady, after watching him for many years, if you can get a couple guys up the middle between him and Grover Stewart to get at the feet of Brady, get a little happy dance going on, you have a chance. So I think that's what they're going to have to do is try to apply pressure up the middle, bring Darius Leonard on a couple of blitzes. But that all starts with DeForest Buckner. He usually takes on a double team to help open things up.
Yeah, Buckner is a beast up that middle, and that looks like one good trade for Indianapolis to help them keep momentum churning in the right directions in terms of a franchise goes. So MVP of the game for the Bucs. I'm going to see how we react to the loss of Ali Marpet as well. I'm going to see who steps up and if our O-line could handle it. I'm going to go with I guess more of a player to look out for, but I think a guy who might have an important game this game. I think Aaron Stinney steps in, and I think he fills a nice role of Ali Marpet. So we'll see how that one works. Joe, I know you got to go here shortly. What's your walk-off, sir? What's one thing you're excited about for the Colts that you've been seeing lately on Sunday? Or what's one thing on Sunday that has your ears perked in terms of Colts football? What's your walk-off, my friend?
Well, I mean, it's been 2 years now. Okay, I'm 3 years older than you, and I had to watch you celebrate for a few years and get a Super Bowl, which I thoroughly enjoyed. As I love being a Bucs fan for my NFC side of things, but I'm the older brother here. I got to start being able to look down on you again. So that will be what I'm looking forward to most is after a victory. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to look you dead in the eye and you're going to know what's up. So it's not a guarantee it's going to happen, but I've been waiting for this day since December 8, 2019 when the Bucs beat the Colts in an epic collapse at Tampa Bay and Raymond James. But that being said, it's always great being on here. Stun, I'll see you for the Bills game in December. Cats, we got a big SVU marathon coming in early December before they get out of things. And Cody, I hope to meet you soon as well, as it's always a pleasure. So I love what you guys do. It's good talking to you. And I got to end it with Go Colts. Quentin Nelson, if Vita Vea is back, my one talking, he might want to sit in extra week when you're going up against the best guard in the game. I'm going to leave y'all on that note.
Yeah, you don't want any part of these, man.
I don't want to argue with y'all, so I'm going to sign off with my talking crap like a boy would do.
Donnie Pippin's booing you off the stage anyways. So.
Thank you, Donnie. Thank you. Have a good one, fellas.
Thanks for joining us. Enjoy your night. Enjoy the rest of your Black Friday. That was Joey Nips from the Cleve Me Podcast. He's the Colts brain in this episode. And as we got about 10 more minutes here, we're going to each go around and give our walk-offs of what we're looking forward to or what we've seen lately that we've been liking from this Buccaneers team. Cody, you had a couple good things to bring up earlier, sir. What's your walk-off? What are some things you're seeing that you like, or what do you expect to see Sunday that's heading in the right direction, or what are you hoping?
Well, going back and watching the film of the Giants game, and I know the Giants, they're not a good team, but that first drive, the creativity on that first drive versus them, I don't think I've ever seen that much creativity out of Byron. So I'm hoping to keep that going. And Stunna talked on Edwards playing nickel. Like we talked about that on this pod and the group chat quite a bit. Like to me, he's a playmaker. You've got to find a way to keep your playmakers on the field. The dude is always around the football. So I saw a lot of that. And then Joe Tryon, he actually got like 50% of the snaps, which I still think that's not quite enough with JPP's injury, but moving him inside on obvious passing downs and all, like that's, you got JPP, Shaq, Tryon out there, especially Vito will be back like that. That is a filthy line. No quarterback wants to be looking across that. So yeah, I hope to see, all those things keep up. And to Donnie's thing about SMB, I think SMB is going to get, I'm not saying he'll definitely get 2 picks, but he's going to have some opportunities. I think he's going to be on Pittman most of the game. Wentz can be iffy, not necessarily the most accurate quarterback ever. So that wouldn't surprise me. Definitely wouldn't surprise me to see that happen.
Yeah, I think, JT, we talked about it. Him inside, man, that dynamic that could bring to the table when JTS lines up on inside. And, keep JPP more fresh. Keep him on the sidelines if you need to bump JTS outside. That's fine, But nonetheless, just find a way to get him on the field. And Mike Edwards as well. Whenever that guy's on the field, it seems like he's making plays. You've always been a big advocate of him. Whenever he blitzes too, he seems like he's always in the quarterback's face, whether he gets to the quarterback or whether he's jumping around, distracting the quarterback. So those two guys are definitely worth keeping eyes on and hoping that things continue in the right direction this Sunday. Cats, what say you? What's your walk-off for the Bucs?
Yeah, I think, and to piggyback a bit off what Cody said, they came out. That was a great first drive, right off the bat. The way they called that, they weren't predictable. They start off with play action. They even ran 2 reverses on that first possession and went right down the field. And you're going to need to do that. You got to have the same level of confidence on the road both as a player and as a play caller. And in the last couple road games, we've come out. We've been very conservative. We've punted on our first possession. That's both the Washington game and the New Orleans game. You're going to have the Bucs have to play, and we say this every week, but really going against a well-coached, good team on the road, they have got to keep the penalties down. You're not going to get away with it against them. They did a good job at home last week in doing that, I thought, for the most part, but you have got to stay penalty-free. Not penalty completely, but you've got to, keep that down if we're going to win this game. You can't be doing what you did against the Saints and against the football team, and even in some earlier games that we were able to come out on top on. You just can't do that. So hopefully they play a clean game, and if so, I see them being able to pull out a win. If not, then I could easily see this one going the other way.
Yeah, I think penalty limitation is huge and something to keep an eye on for sure. I think it's something that when this Bucs team does limit their penalties, it helps us out a lot. Obviously, helps us become the football team that we could be potentially. Stunna, what say you, my friend? You usually have something cool to say as we walk off. What's your walk off today, my friend?
I just remember the last time we were at the Colts, and their fans were giving us a hard time. We didn't play well, and I think it's time for some payback. And they've been talking a lot of trash in social media and through the media cohorts, and Shannon Sharp predicting the Colts are going to beat us. I'm like, you're not paying attention, man. The AFC is not good. Okay, the AFC, your best AFC teams are struggling with mediocre NFC teams this season. So I really don't see that we're going to just get wiped out like some of these people are predicting. And I really like our chances, but, you got to earn a victory. So
yeah, and your mic, it seemed like we lost your mic. What you say there, Stunna, that last part?
I just said the players got to play, and it's they got to show up and they got to want it. And I really think Brady is going to be emotional because of his past there, and I think that's going to take us over the edge. But it's been a weird year, and we haven't played well on the road. So I would love us to go in there and really dominate. But I don't believe in the AFC this season. I think that the NFC is a lot better. So I like our chances, and I hope that we play our best football, and I hope we play our best football going forward, and we start getting on the incline and start getting that playoff push going. And nothing else, go Bucs.
Yeah, and I agree with that. We got to get our playoff push going and continue that. Donnie Pepin says, great job, guys. Keep up the momentum. I got to go Bucs. Well, Donnie, I think we're all on your train here as we're about to log off as well. But first, I'll give my walk-off. Look, I just want to get back on track, get another win here. You lose. That is 3 out of the last 4 losses. So it would not be the best optics if we lost this game, although it's a good Colts team and it is a road game in which we struggle on the road. And we're getting a lot of help in the NFC, especially in our division. Our division keeps losing. We have a 2.5 game lead now in the NFC South. So all those things are nice. The Cowboys keep on losing. But if we win this game, that's that much bigger towards our playoff seeding. And it's really looking like you're going to want to be a 1, 2, or 3 seed in the NFC. Obviously, 1 seed for bye week purposes. 2 or 3 seed just based off opponents you'd play, because if you land in that 4 seed, you're going to end up playing Arizona or St. Louis. Where if you end up in that 2 or 3 seed, it's looking like you're going to either play a team like Minnesota, a team like the 49ers, a team like the Saints, which nothing against all those squads. They could win any given Sunday, obviously, but you like your chances against those guys a hell of a lot more than you do against an Arizona, a hell of a lot more than you do against an LA. So I just think it's key we keep trying to pile up W's while we can, because it'll eventually become a point in time where playoff seeding is really going to become a part of the factor. And I know it's nice getting in, yada, 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 whatever. But like last year, we lucked out. That 5 seed was huge for us, not getting that 6 or 7 seed, starting at Washington, getting our foot on track, playing the easiest potential game week 1. We want to do that same thing this year. So if we could get the first round bye, great. If not, that 2 or 3 seed would just be awesome, because that means then that things are going well for us, as we would have an easier opponent at home. But nonetheless, the Bucs just string some more wins together, my friends, and don't let people talk about, oh, this team went 1-3 in the past 4, because if we do lose, the media is going to be flying with that. They're going to take that and run with it, and they're going to say, oh, their only wins come against the Giants the past month, and yada 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 and so forth. So right, wrong, or indifferent there. I want the Bucs to win to shut the media up, especially amongst the haters. But any last words of the pod, ladies and gentlemen, before we log off? Cody, we'll start with you. Last words.
It's good to see us getting healthy again. I'm worried about Allie. It sounds like it's not, like he might miss this game, but it doesn't sound like it's like a huge thing. So Steiny, however you pronounce his name, he played well last week. That's why you keep a guy like that around, give him a contract. So I'd be all right with them sitting Allie if we need to. This is a big game and we need to win it. But it's AFC. If we were to lose this game, I don't know that it's worth risking Allie's long-term health. So I would probably be fine with them sitting him. But sounds like AB will be back next week, and it sounds like Carlton's coming too. So we've been shaky this year. Like we look really good at times, really bad at times. I do think the injuries have been a part of that, but let's get these guys back healthy, get hot at the end of the season. I think most people know it's not necessarily the best team that usually wins the Super Bowl. It's whoever gets hot and healthy at the end of the year. That was like us last year. We were 7-5 at one point, and but things just started clicking. We were more or less healthy in the playoffs, and hopefully we can do a similar run like that this year.
Yeah, it's all about who's hot and who's not at the end. It's all about whose team's playing good at the right time. Because look at the Saints. I know they had some injuries, but look at how good they opened, and now look at how good they're playing. It just goes to show, just because you start hot in the league doesn't mean that you're going to end up doing well. So the Bucs started hot. We got to just end well, get healthy, get some guys back, and keep battling this battle, because health is going to start playing big factors. So I agree. It'll be nice getting all these guys back. ABs, Carlton Davis, Scotty Millers of the world. We got SMB back last week. That sounded like a robot fart. Cats, what say you? Any last words?
Actually, now that you mentioned that, it looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, Scotty Miller will be active for this game. Am I correct?
Does look. It looks that way.
It looks that way. Last I heard, Bruce said it would be a game time decision, but he also said he's been practicing for 2 weeks and looks good. So I
thought they could have. I remember hearing that he was looked like he was going to play last week. He did not. And they had Perriman. I believe they should have caught that ball, and that was a great throw by Brady. Perriman didn't track it well. Not to disrespect him, but Brady, I felt last year developed a really good rapport with Scotty Miller. So it would be really nice to have him back as that deep threat, replacing a guy like Rashad Perriman, who did an okay job. Like I said, he looked like he lost that ball in the lights or something on that deep ball. But Miller and Brady have played together a lot last year. He'd never played with Perriman before, so if he's back, I could see him being a potential difference maker in this game and going forward down the stretch, as we saw last year in the NFC title game. So I'm excited if Scotty's back this week. It's been a while, and maybe I took him for granted a bit. Or took for granted not having him, not making a difference, and he makes a difference. That's what I meant to say.
He is a lovely deep threat, so that'll be good. Just good getting Scotty Miller back. Like you said, it's one of those things with all the weapons on this team. It's not like people intentionally take him for granted, but it's like, we got Godwin, we got Howard, we got Brady, we got Evans, we got this guy, we got that guy. So bigger than it looks, especially with that pyramid drop. Stunna, last words, and then we're bouncing out.
I think we definitely want to get the top 1 or 2 seed with how we played on the road this year. And I don't see, and the NBC ain't gonna flex the game, but we know we're the game of the week. We got to show them play like it. And we're gonna repeat champions. We have to. This is our playoff push, and every game from here on out is a playoff.
Yep, we got to just keep playing good. We know NBC should flex it, but they won't. So it's too late for NBC. But even just the announcers, a game of the week, it would have been nice getting good ones. But who cares?
Cut you off in a second there, Tones. We do have good announcers for this one. We do. We've got Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. I'm a big fan of both of them.
That is good. That's good announcing.
Yeah, that's their second team for Fox. So we're the feature game at 1:00. Rams and Green Bay is their 4:00 game, which is the game of the week. So, which I can understand that one. But Kevin Burkhardt and Greg Olson. I've listened to Olson a bit. I'm glad that he's an announcer. Not only is he a good announcer, but we don't have to face him anymore because I don't think we ever covered him. So, but I enjoy the two of them as an announcing duo. So I'm glad that we do get them this Sunday. Well,
yeah,
they're not biased.
I agree, and I personally like them more than Buck and Aikman myself. So, not that I'll be able to watch the game, I'll be at that game. So maybe I'll put earbuds in if Colts fans are acting like a bunch of jackasses and annoying the piss out of me. But we'll see what happens. I look forward to adventuring to Indianapolis, and you could look on updates from this weekend. I'm heading there tomorrow. So between Saturday and Sunday, I will be posting some live action shots in Indy. Hopefully, we could run into the Bucs at a hotel we're staying at if I did some due diligence correctly. So we'll see what happens. Nonetheless, I'm looking forward to taking my boot to my ass in that stadium to put some boots to asses in Indianapolis. So nonetheless, it's been another fun Buccateers. We had Joey Nips on from the Cleve Me Podcast.
Nail the horseshoes.
What's up, Stun?
I said nail the horseshoes.
Oh yeah, the horseshoes, man. It's not an easy environment. They got that dome. They got a lot of horseshoes. So we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, it should be an interesting game. And we got Bucs Colts football live Sunday, and I'll be there. So I'm looking forward to that. It's been a fun pod. On behalf of Cats, Cody G, Stunna, Bucko couldn't join us. He fell asleep on the couch from too much Thanksgiving leftovers and watching some college football, it seems. But nonetheless, it's been the Buccateers. Until next time, Tampa Tones and the rest of the crew and Joey Nips from Cleve and me, we're out of the building. Thanks so much. Enjoy your holiday weekend. Happy Thanksgiving, happy Black Friday, and enjoy yourselves. Be safe out there the rest of the weekend.